Ethan and I were sitting in City Hall, ready to pick up our marriage certificate. He took a call and stood up to leave. Something urgent came up. We'll do this another day. I clutched the hem of his jacket. Can't you stay? Liam frowned. Stop it. We can file paperwork anytime. Tara fell down the stairs. I have to go. A few minutes after he left, a text popped up. Tara's ankle is pretty bad, I need to stay with her. Let's push tomorrow's wedding. I suddenly felt ridiculous. I'd lost count of how many times Liam had ditched me for Tara. My chest was numb, I couldn't muster any fresh pain. Miss, are you still processing? The clerk asked sympathetically. I pulled out my phone and opened a chat I hadn't touched in ages. Big brother, will you marry me, today? The reply came almost instantly. Yes. Staring at the screen felt surreal. Give me 20 minutes. While I was still dazed, Mom rang. Gigi, you and Liam finished at City Hall, right? Come straight to Century, the families are dining together tonight. Mom, we didn't file. Liam's childhood sweetheart hurt herself, he went to the hospital. My voice was oddly calm, as if I were recounting someone else's story. I'd been through this routine so many times that, for once, I didn't fall apart. But Mom exploded. The woman who ruled boardrooms and never lost her composure unleashed a torrent of fury. He cancels the wedding whenever he feels like it? Half the city's VIPs are flying in, relatives are traveling miles, what will people say about you? A beat of silence. Then a sigh traveled down the line. Perhaps she remembered all the years I'd bent over backward. Baby, whatever you decide, I'm behind you. Those words cracked the dam, tears streamed. I ended the call. Ethan and I started dating sophomore year. Back then, bright-eyed me spotted cool, brooding Liam across the lecture hall and fell hard. I orbited him every spare second until he rubbed his temples, pretended he had a headache, and finally said yes. The sky burst into confetti, loud and dazzling. Find the boy you love, finish college side by side, slide into adult life, plan a future. For a while, I swore I was the happiest girl alive. Then came Tara. It was our 5th anniversary. I'd spent weeks planning a trip to Yunnan, flights booked, boutique inns reserved 2 months early. Every day I messaged Liam a WhatsApp countdown, begging him to clear his calendar. He'd send eye-roll emojis and call me childish, but he humored me. 2 days before we were supposed to leave, his little childhood friend flew home. Rumor said her parents had divorced and started new families, she couldn't fit in, so she came back. One phone call later, Liam told me he couldn't come. Tara hasn't been back in years. I need to pick her up or she'll be lost. It's just an anniversary, stop being dramatic. Heartbroken, I cancelled every ticket and booking. From then on, Liam was always on call, our time shrank. He was obsessed with custom mechanical keyboards, so I begged a friend overseas for discontinued switches, soldered until my fingers blistered. Anything he loved, I wanted to give him. But when Tara batted her eyes and asked, "Can I have it?" he handed it over without a flicker. I bit my lip and stayed silent. Later he coaxed me, Tara's straightforward, saying no would be petty. Don't overthink it, she's like a sister. Want my custom one instead? And just like that, I forgave him. Back then I hadn't realized he'd never been that gently considerate with anyone, only her. 6 months after our engagement, we vacationed at the beach with friends. Tara tagged along. I'd met her before, but that evening I felt her malice crystal clear. At dusk, tide rising, we picked our way across the reef. Suddenly Tara staggered and yanked my wrist, both of us plunged into the icy sea. Razor-sharp shells sliced my calf, I hissed in pain, but I saw Tara smirk through the spray. Gigi, she called over the waves, will Liam rescue his fiancée first, or the poor girl who accidentally fell? When Liam's frantic voice neared, Tara morphed into a shivering victim, sobbing, "It's not Gigi's fault." I slipped. I opened my mouth, but Liam's gaze froze me. He bent, lifted Tara, and carried her off. Everyone else hovered, awkwardly hauling me up. "Gee, we know you're not like that. Don't be mad," Liam just panicked. Even strangers believed me, why couldn't he? There were countless reruns. We'd be at the movies when Tara phoned, "She's having another nightmare, I'll run over." He'd grab his coat and go. Fever of 102, I snapped a photo of the thermometer. 2 hours later, Tara's terrified of thunder, "I'll stay. Drink more water." I kept telling myself, once we're married, he'll be mine alone. But right now, I'm exhausted. "Gigi." A warm, clear voice reeled me back. I looked up. Ethan. He was still the gentle guy from memory, sunlight seeming to follow him. Big brother. The word opened the floodgates, tears fell nonstop. We'd grown up next door. barely older than me, yet he'd always felt like a protective big brother. At 7, when I crashed my bike, he dashed over, teasing, clumsy. I could ride at 5, then steadied my rear wheel for a week. When I insisted on building a snowman, he froze beside me and finally wrapped his own scarf around it for warmth. On blacked out summer nights, he fanned me with a straw fan while we counted stars until we dozed off. So many bright memories. When did we drift apart? He left for college abroad, still calling and texting. Then sophomore year, Liam filled my universe, and Ethan quietly stepped out. Neither of us reached for the other, until word came he was back. Now, maybe fresh from a board meeting, he stood in a tailored suit, sharper, older. He sighed and dabbed my cheeks with a tissue. Little crybaby, aren't we signing papers? Having second thoughts? No. I blinked through tears. He ruffled my hair. The clerk stared as we completed the forms in 15 minutes, time Liam wouldn't spare. After ward Ethan dashed off, arranging his driver for me. Leave tomorrow to me, he said. I nodded, clutching the marriage certificate, and slid into the car. My phone rang. Liam. I'm sorry. I assumed he meant the cancelled filing. Then Tara's sugary voice floated over. Gigi, I didn't mean it. Your wedding gown was so gorgeous I just had to try it on. Then I slipped and tore it. No biggie, she's not petty, Liam soothed her, then told me, since the wedding's postponed, we'll order another one. He forgot it had taken 6 months to commission the Italian couture piece. I didn't bother asking why a woman with a sprained ankle was parading in my dress. Whatever, just toss it, I said flatly. Liam hesitated, expecting tantrums that never came. I'll get you a new one in a couple days, he murmured. Also, Tara has an orthopedic friend overseas. Her fall was serious, we're flying tonight. My end of the line went dead silent. The years I'd spent with Liam in college had truly been happy ones. I'd also believed his feelings for me were real. But the moment Tara showed up, I realized his affection had never been reserved for me alone. I still remember one night. It was a middle school reunion for Liam, and Tara was there. I hadn't planned to go, but he messaged saying he'd had a few drinks and asked me to pick him up. I guessed the timing and headed over. Yet when I reached the private room door, I caught the chatter inside. Yo, Liam keeps downing drinks for Tara, what's that about? Right? One guy knocking back 3 guys worth, must be the power of love. Tara fake pouted, stop it, you're making it sound like I'm his girlfriend or something. Come on, try telling people outside that you two are just buddies and see who buys it. Stop fronting in front of us, 3 straight years of breakfast for you in middle school, copying pages for you when the teacher punished you, double sets of notes when you stayed home sick. We've been force-fed your love story since we were kids. Doesn't Liam actually have a girlfriend, though? Someone tossed that out, and the whole room suddenly hushed. My hand on the doorknob clenched tighter. He does. It was Liam's voice, low and gravelly. That same tone from the time in college when I fell during the 800-meter dash, half frantic, half furious. Maybe it wasn't as ugly as I feared. I quietly exhaled in relief. Then the next second I felt myself sliding into an ice pit. Sometimes responsibility outweighs feelings, you get me, he said, forcing lightness. Tears rolled down unchecked. The heartbreak was real, yet I hung on. Spoiled since childhood, I'd never known sorrow until Liam gave it to me in spades. But a liking that isn't one of a kind? I don't want it anymore. It's fine, go if you want. My voice was flat. Liam froze. He should have felt relief, no screaming, no meltdown. Instead a wave of panic swallowed him. I didn't bother answering, I simply ended the call. After all, I'm already married, aren't I? He rang again, I set the phone to mute. When I walked through the front door, Mom launched into the lecture she'd been storing up. I never liked that boy. Handsome, sure, but orbiting his childhood sweetheart with zero boundaries. Sweetie, we can't go blind before 30. Dad chimed in from the sofa, then don't marry him. Heck, stay single forever, we can afford to keep you. Seeing Mom shoot Dad a death glare, I quickly pulled the still warm little red book from my bag. I did marry, I did. Mom blinked, took the booklet, muttering, so young Joe isn't a total lost cause. The moment she flipped it open her mouth formed a perfect O. Dad craned over, saw the photo and the name, total shock. Baby, you're serious? They stared at me. Yes. I'm not marrying Liam. I spoke slowly. But the wedding goes ahead tomorrow. The Vance family has traded for a century. I've stubbornly stayed out of the firm, yet I can't let our name be trampled because of me. After dinner we boxed up the engagement photos and the Sterling family's betrothal gifts. Liam had been meticulous, every item handpicked. That much care. and still, for Tara, he tossed me aside. The doorbell rang, I went to answer. It was Caldwell, both of them. Years had passed, yet one still brimmed with vigor, the other with timeless grace, unchanged. Caldwell caught me in a bear hug, beaming, "My good girl, finally one of us." Caldwell cleared his throat. "Mind your elder image. I watched Gigi grow up, she knows exactly how I am. Dear in-laws, my rascal son dragged his feet so long I thought I'd never see this day." Caldwell even dabbed an imaginary tear. Everyone laughed. My heart, numbed by Liam, fluttered back to life. Between chats, a dozen workers trooped in carrying crates. "Betrothal gifts," Caldwell winked. "Every ritual counts. Ethan's missing, he's swamped." I smiled sheepishly. I'd only meant to borrow a big brother for backup, apparently the whole family bought the act. Caldwell and my parents chattered on, hashing out wedding minutiae. I slipped outside and dialed Ethan. "Bro, what exactly did you tell your parents? They're taking this seriously." Ethan's clear laugh floated through. "Oh? I'm taking it seriously too." My brain gave a short-circuit bang. Ethan's smile was almost audible. "Silly girl, which brother marries his sister? You're past the point of no return, right now you are my lawful wife." I hung up crimson, thoughts spinning. Still, walking through life hand in hand with Ethan felt surprisingly right. I stood there in the gown Ethan had sent, every inch hand beaded with micro-diamonds, blazing under the sun like liquid starlight. "Ready?" "Ethan's here," Mom urged. I moved to the window. Below, a column of red cars stretched away, each decked with scarlet roses, flamboyant, almost naughty. Years apart, and Ethan's taste had gone deliciously low-key luxe. While I mused, the crowd poured him into the house. I looked up. He wore a perfectly cut black tux, shoulders sharp as pine trunks. Yesterday's words flooded back, my face combusted. Ethan's eyes locked on me, deep and bright, a smile climbing to his brows. "Let's go." We'd grown up together, yet something between us had shifted. In that rolling excitement he led me out, my hand burning red inside his. Waiting in the hotel lounge I caught stray gossip from the aisles. Word as the groom flew his childhood sweetheart overseas last night. "Looks like this wedding's gonna flop." Tara posted 2 boarding passes on Instagram captioned, "Halfway around the planet, just for me." Total power move. Suji weighs pitiful, guests all here, whole town waiting for the punchline. Once Tara sneezed and Liam postponed a major company meeting to drive her to the hospital, hooed by the just friends line. Top-tier beauty in Riverdale, years of dating, yet a bat of the little sweetheart's lashes and she's toast. The Sterlings announced a postponement last night, but the Vances insist it's on. Bet there'll be a showdown. I booked the day off specifically for the drama. Listening, I found myself nodding. What had taken me years to see, outsiders spotted in 5 minutes. Showtime. I stepped into the shadow behind the cathedral doors and inhaled. They swung open, and tens of thousands of roses detonated before me, crimson cascades from the ceiling, surging scarlet tides along the carpet, ruby pinpricks in every guest row. The world felt dipped in rose-glazed champagne. Petals, caught by my sweeping train, clung like drops of blood on snow. My heart somersaulted. Liam had wanted pale elegance, white on white. Ethan served me a fever dream. I suddenly remembered a midsummer night when I'd described this very fantasy to him, childish, blazing. He'd remembered every detail. Ethan waited beneath a rose arch, a half-blown bloom tucked into his lapel, smile tender. "Told you I'd walk you into a fairy tale," he mouthed. In my cloud-white gown I felt the only patch of light in an ocean of red. My heart quivered. "The goose." T.S. erupted. "Wait, that's not the groom? Where's Liam? Notice the Sterling seats are empty? What are the Vances plotting? Last-minute groom swap, juicy." Hand in hand we climbed the altar. His cool, steady voice rang out, "Good afternoon. For those I haven't met, Ethan. Thank you for coming to the wedding I've dreamed of since I was 12. Today I finally get to promise I do to the girl who owns every snapshot in my memory." The screen behind us lit up, our life told in doodles and photos, 2 kids chasing fireflies, teenagers racing bikes, every shared birthday, every scraped knee, us. There's me drooling on my desk during nap time, me balanced on tiptoe splashing through rain puddles, even the back view shot of me storming out after some tantrum, moments I never knew anyone caught on camera. The last frame freezes on my wedding gown silhouette from this morning, a line fading in, "Thank heaven it's finally my turn to love you." The guests around me explode into applause. I stare at the man in front of me. I used to see him only as a big brother, yet it seems he's been cradling me in his heart all along. Looking at the sea of laughter in his eyes, I can't help but smile back. After the feast finally winds down, I'm basically carried to our room by Ethan. I'm too drained. The moment my cheek meets his shoulder, every muscle melts into sleep. When he lays me on the bed, I'm too limp to move. Then the bathroom door clicks, and suddenly I'm wide awake. Right, someone else is here, my brand new husband, the childhood big brother I haven't seen in ages. We signed papers the instant we reunited, and every awkward thing we've skipped now drifts between us like invisible smoke. He steps out in a bathrobe, hair still dripping, water beads slide down his neck, trace his collarbone, and disappear under the half-open lapel. My breath snags. I slam my eyes shut and fake sleep, fingers knotting the sheet. Ethan chuckles. Quit clawing, you'll hurt your hands. I let go and are you? Busted, cheeks blazing. He leans over. The crisp pine of his body wash fuses with his warmth and claims the air around me. Gee, can I kiss you, just once? No. My brain finally reboots. Really not even once? Dependable is suddenly a sad wet puppy, I'm not used to it. One kiss? I remember how Ethan used to plant them, a peck on my forehead when my grades tanked, one on a scraped finger, one on the crown of my head when geometry beat me. It never felt off limits. Still, I sneak a glance. You married me because you love me? Or just out of old loyalty, throwing me a life raft? I don't want to flatter myself. A sigh drifts from above. Gee, I thought I was being obvious. I freeze. Ethan lowers himself, eyes level with mine. I shouldn't have let you call me big brother. You actually started believing it. Huh? My shocked stare seems to sting him. I like you, have for the longest time. At the confession, I burrow under the quilt. My pulse booms in my ears, but I conk out. Next morning I wake alone. I groan and check my phone and find a slew of missed calls. Then it rings again. Liam. Good, he's heard. I draw a breath and pick up. Emma, are you done humiliating me? How dare you marry Ethan on our wedding day? Liam's fury crackles through. I'm not playing games. He snorts. I know you're throwing a tantrum, but this is out of line. How am I supposed to marry you now? Aren't you scared I'll dump you? Understand this, I'm the one dumping you. My voice chills. So this is payback? Slapping a ring on a stand-in to spite me? Fine, I can explain the delay. Tara needed me, but he isn't a substitute, I cut in, the idea suddenly ludicrous. And I don't want your explanations. You chose her, I chose him. Fair trade. Liam laughs. Fair? Emma, who are you kidding? How long have you loved him? How long have you loved me? You expect me to believe you flipped a switch? Apologize and we can pretend none of this happened. Do you honestly think every time you look back I'll be standing in the same spot waiting? You will, he says, utterly sure, and the certainty feels like a slap. I must have been such a fool for him to take my devotion for granted. But I've already let you go. Liam, have you seen my jacket? Tara's voice floats through the line. I hang up without expression. On the other end, Liam glances at the dead screen, unease flickering across his face. Annoyed, he mutters, Tara, your sister-in-law's upset. I have to get back once you're settled. Tara's eyes well up. Liam, my leg still hurts. You're abandoning me too? His gaze softens. I won't ditch you. Just try to stand on your own. If you weren't hurt, your sister-in-law and I would already be married. Shadow darkens Tara's eyes. My parents live close, so Ethan and I raid their fridge daily. Dad brags that his killer cooking won back my proud as Rose's mom. Every retelling lights him up. Mom hides a grin and scolds, stop fibbing in front of the kids. I prop my chin, enthralled. Dad, that's the most honest trick ever. Ethan leans to my ear. If you like it, I can learn. The whisper is low, lazy, and dead serious. Heat floods my ears. I whip around and crash into his laughing eyes. Across the table Mom smirks, Dad fake coughs. Who says I want your affection? I squeak, crimson. Ever since the formal confession, our vibe has shifted. I play it cool, but the second Ethan steps out I dive at Mom. Ethan says he's liked me since we were kids. She's arranging flowers and rolls her eyes. Only you were clueless, half the block could tell. Dad peels an apple and chips in. When you had that 104-degree fever at 6, little Ethan camped by your bed all day. His favorite transformer shattered and he never noticed. Mom adds, by 10 he was deboning fish for you, dumping his own portion on your plate, claiming he hated seafood. Dad nods. At first I bought the Big Brother act too, but that boy's eyes were carbon copies of mine when I chased your mom. We're thrilled, you couldn't find anyone we trust more. Then sophomore year you announced you were dating that Sterling kid. With Ethan setting the bar, we found Liam lacking, cold, stiff, messy family. You only had eyes for him, and he'd ditch your wedding for his little sidekick. Wait, I came to gloat, not get roasted. I'll go check on Ethan, I mumble and bolt. I spot Ethan clipping roses in the yard. Without a word I tug his sleeve. He ruffles my hair, reads my mood, and folds me into a hug. A furious roar splits the air. What the hell do you two think you're doing? Liam stands dust-covered, bloodshot eyes nailed to Ethan's arm around me. Tara hovers behind him, fragile as ever. I bury my face in Ethan's chest. I've seen enough. Ethan, you'd better explain, Liam growls, throat jerking, hand already reaching to yank Ethan's arm away. Emma is my fiancée, back off. Ethan laughs softly and shifts me half a step behind him, thumb grazing the ring on my left hand. Fiancé? 12 hours before the ceremony you flew overseas with Lynn, remember? Liam's hands tremble. Emma, listen to me. Watching him, I flash back to our engagement dinner when he thought I'd made Tara spill red wine. He flustered and shielded her while guests pointed and whispered at me. His Emma, don't make a scene, had the exact same ring. Explain? I step out from behind Ethan. Explain why when Tara dumped wine on my dress you made me apologize? Why my boyfriend nursed her while I had a fever? Or why you dumped me at the altar and took your childhood sweetheart abroad the day before our wedding? Liam freezes, hand still stretched toward me. Emma, it's just. Tara was hurt and alone. Ethan sets a palm on Liam's shoulder, gentle but immovable, and pushes him back. Control yourself, Sterling. Don't paw at my wife. Liam's face drains. A wedding's just a party, don't act like it's real. We're already married, I answered, perfectly calm. The band on my ring finger caught the sun and flashed like cold steel. Wow, swapping boyfriends fast, aren't we? Tara sneered at my side. I didn't even waste a glance on her. Liam stared as if I'd lost my mind. Gee Wei, have you gone crazy? You just grabbed some random guy to spite me? I looked at him calmly, almost amused. Liam, you really overestimate yourself, I said, voice flat. I didn't get married to upset you. I married because, I turned toward Ethan, a small smile tugging at my mouth. He's worth it. Liam's pupils shrank. He looked instinctively at Ethan, who simply rested a hand on my waist. No. Liam's voice cracked upward. You love me. There's no way you, enough. I cut him off. Seems you forgot, you're the one who walked away first. Every time you chose Tara, every time you flew off overseas, you'd already lost me. I'd had enough. I tugged Ethan's hand to leave. When Liam saw us turn, he lunged, grabbing my arm in frantic desperation. Gee Wei, you can't do this to me. You, Ethan's fist connected with his jaw. Liam staggered back, wiping blood from the corner of his mouth, eyes still fixed on me. Liam! Tara shrieked, running to help, but he shoved her away. Get lost, he roared, voice raw. If you hadn't played the damsel in distress, hadn't clung to me, I wouldn't have lost her. Tara crumpled to the floor, tears streaming. Liam, even you don't want me anymore? He swayed on his feet. Gigi. I never looked back. After the door shut, Ethan squeezed my fingertips. Upset? I shook my head and leaned into his shoulder. Just, ridiculous, that's all. He chuckled, kissing my hair. He had it coming. His long fingers threaded through mine. I could never treat you like that. I tilted my head, the foyer's warm light scattered like stars across his eyes. Later, I asked about the story Mom had told me. Ethan nodded. I kept thinking, if I treated you better and better, maybe you'd like me back. But you fell for someone else. Guess I'm just not your type. I shook my head hurriedly. That's not true. I was afraid to hope, yo. You always saw me as a little sister. Ethan smiled. As long as you don't hate me, we've got time. Word came that Liam had landed in hospital with a stubborn fever. I figured I wouldn't see him for a while, until the housekeeper said someone had been standing outside for ages, asking for me. I told her to let him in, closure was overdue. Liam entered shaking, fever-bright cheeks, suit a crumpled mess. Sit, I said, indicating the sofa opposite. The moment he opened his mouth a coughing fit seized him, his knuckles whitened around the armrest. Gigi, about Tara, let me explain, drink first. I slid a glass of water toward him. He clutched it like a lifeline. To me she's just a little sister, her parents helped me once. I cut him off. Do you remember our last trip to the beach? He froze. You carried Tara away while I sliced my calf and dislocated my wrist. I called the ambulance myself. I rotated my wrist slowly. His face drained of color. I didn't know, but you did, I said softly. You knew how humiliated I'd be when you skipped the reception, How much it hurt every time you took her side. Liam went rigid. I was wrong. I swear I'll change. He lunged on, divorce him, okay? Just divorce him and marry me. We'll go back to the way things were. I thought he must be delirious. This isn't a game. And I won't leave, I'm happy now. He mumbled, if I hadn't left, you'd be my wife. It was supposed to be us. I stood. Go. There's no way back. He refused, voice hoarse, almost bitter. Ethan will let you down someday, why must you stay with him? I met his eyes and spoke each word distinctly. You've got it backwards. I married Ethan not because he'll treat me perfectly forever. Being with him taught me one thing, no matter how anyone treats me, I have to treat myself right. Liam's fists clenched white. What spell did he put on you? You still don't get it. I sighed. Ethan never leaves me waiting for a call at 2 a.m., never makes me summon my own ambulance, never to RNS me into a public joke at the altar. But that's old news. I smoothed my skirt. These days I brew my own brown sugar tonic, pop my vitamins, see a doctor the minute I'm hurt. Liam collapsed onto the sofa as if all air left him. You think I was choosing a man? I gave him one last look. I was choosing to respect my own feelings, always. After he left, Ethan stepped out of the study. He'd heard everything. He pressed a thermos into my hand, warmth seeped through the stainless steel. Of course, I said, twisting off the lid with a bright grin, having someone to add goji berries is nice too. He ruffled my hair in mock exasperation. Only nice? Guess I'll have to level up to amazing. A few days later, over drinks with friends, I caught unexpected news. They said Liam had sunk into a slump after his fever broke, nightly benders that landed him in hospital twice with gastritis. Then someone discovered Tara's fall down the stairs had been a simple sprain. She'd faked the medical report by bribing a doctor. Liam barged into Tara's office, caused such a scene she was fired on the spot, then sued both her and the hospital. Facing jail, Tara leaked private recordings of their flirtation to the press, confirming Liam's infidelity. Shares of the Sterling nosedived, the board removed him as CEO. His grandfather, appalled at his poor judgment and temperament, banished him to a remote branch office, snuffing any future power play. Before his exile, we crossed paths one last time, at a gala. Under glittering crystal chandeliers, perfume and laughter thick in the air, Ethan chatted with acquaintances while I hovered, bored, until I spotted Liam in a dim corner. His tux was crisp, but the knot of his tie hung loose, cuffs a shade worn. The confident spark in his eyes had dulled to weary ashes. He lifted his gaze, startled, then gave a wry smile and raised his glass. When he approached, his voice was sandpaper rough. Gigi. I'm sorry. I studied the bruised shadows beneath his Yes, the stale scent of cigarettes, and answered softly, it's in the past. Once, we could chatter nonstop, mostly me. He'd pretend annoyance, rubbing his ear, calling me his little sparrow nesting beside it. Now, there was nothing left to say. We gazed at each other, strangers at last. Familiar footsteps sounded behind me. Ethan arrived with 2 flutes of champagne, offering me one, his eyes calm as he nodded at Liam. Long time no see. Liam pulled a faint smile, seemed about to speak, then simply downed his drink and walked away. In the swirl of gowns and tuxedos, his back looked utterly alone, a gray smudge abandoned by the revelry. Ethan's arm circled my waist. Ready to head home? I leaned against him and nodded. Let's go. I thought, I'm luckier than I knew. A single ray of light guided me to set yesterday's burdens down, like daybreak lifting a night. I spread new wings and soared again. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, tap like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.